Hello and welcome to Vera Media. Are you a male that holds traditional views on gender roles and relationships? If so, you are more likely to commit violence against women than someone who doesn't. That's at least according to the Victorian-endorsed education program Respectful Relationships, a program that teaches lies like this and many more to your children. Now, I'm sure you've all heard of the infamous Safe Schools program, and if you were worried by it, you should be equally as concerned about Respectful Relationships, another feminist-inspired program pushing radical gender and Marxist ideology onto our children via the education system. The program runs from years 2 to 12 in some Victorian schools, with students being taught, among many things, the unscientific theory that sex and gender are separate. So an individual can be born male or female, that's their sex, but can decide to be whatever gender they want based on how they feel. It doesn't stop there though. It pushes even further to then teach the students that someone can be legitimately gender fluid or gender queer, meaning an individual can identify and be attracted to multiple genders at any time and can move fluidly between them. The curriculum legitimizes these ideas not through science or biology, but by indoctrinating the students into believing that this is all possible because gender and sexuality are a construct. Now, for those who have not heard of the term construct, I suggest you familiarise yourselves with it, because the left love to use this term to bypass reality and legitimise their crazy ideas. In this case, as the term suggests, they argue that our gender and sexuality are not set or biological, but are in fact constructed by a number of factors including our society, culture, family and others. This conveniently opens the door to legitimising and transforming gender into whatever you want it to be. So students are essentially being taught that someone can be male or female or any other one of the 50 plus and growing number of genders they choose, based on simply how they feel. According to these theories, gender and sexuality are no longer objective, but are now subjective, in that they are based on feeling, not fact. To make matters worse, students are being pushed to believe and recognise the bizarre notion of privilege, another term you should all familiarise yourselves with. So for example, if an individual is born into one of the two dominant genders, male or female, or is part of a dominant race or religion, they receive automatic unearned benefits that contribute in some way or another to the overall inequalities that others face in our society. In fact, someone's privilege remains conveniently invisible to them, and students are essentially made to feel guilt and shame about how they unknowingly contribute to inequality based solely on who they are. Males, for example, receive a large amount of privilege. The program reminds us of this as it states, "An awareness of the existence of male privilege is critical in understanding why there is a need for feminist perspectives and education on gender at all." In other words, if you are born a straight white Christian male, you are, just by virtue of your birth, at an advantage over everyone else and implicitly contributing to inequality. Something you should feel bad about, of course. This is textbook Marxist theory in action. Remember, communism thrives on social division and class warfare, tearing down of old oppressive ways of thinking and replacing it with equal enlightened ideas of utopia. Ideas like this will only ever foster division and jealousy in a society, and our children should not be exposed to this divisive way of thinking. To reinforce this rubbish, students are to play a privilege patterns card game so that they can identify and feel bad about their own privilege and go on to identify the privilege of those around them. Throughout this, the teachers are to refer to a list of privilege pattern statements to help the students with this process. There is also a game of gender policy snakes and ladders to remind the boys of their male privilege and reinforce myths such as the gender pay gap and discrimination against women in the workplace. This is followed up in a later class by the ridiculous gender equity genie game. Now, while there are some positive aspects to this program, its strong feminist overtones along with its pushing of Marxist and gender theory destroy any good intention it may have. I would not want to be a young male in this program, as I feel it goes out of its way to subtly cripple an already feeble masculinity in our society. So Australia, don't be fooled by their nice and names and positive spin. These programs are made to indoctrinate your children and are part of a wider neo-Marxist agenda sweeping the West. I could have gone on for a lot longer about the content in this program, but thank you for watching. I hope it was informative. Please find the links to the resources below and follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter and Facebook. Thank you very much.